Hi, how you going? It's Pastor Matt here. Just wanting to touch base with you in regards to what's happening in the life of our church, especially during this time of uncertainty with the coronavirus. What I'm going to do is I'm going to basically go through. There's a letter that I've sent out to most people, whether it be through Facebook or email, for everyone that I have. And I'm just wanting to really touch base and look at that letter a little bit deeper. So in Parks, we are both a large and diverse community of believers from many different backgrounds, jobs and community interests. We have both strong and healthy people in our community who will be impacted by the coronavirus, probably in a very minimal way. But we also have many within our church community and the wider community who would be classed as being in the higher risk type category. They could potentially be impacted in a very big way, a very serious way. Given our diversity and our strong, wider community involvement, as we have many points of contact into the wider community, this is all something that we need to be very mindful of as we consider our wider social responsibility and what we need to be doing as a church. Given the impact that this virus has had on a world stage, it's obvious that the decisive preemptive action in limiting people from potential exposure to this virus has helped greatly in the slowing of its spread, or reducing the curve that you would have probably heard on the news quite often. An impact of the virus on our communities is then reduced. And this is necessary to allow our healthcare groups, our hospitals and medical services, our medical specialists, to be able to deal with and medically treat the expected number of people who are going to be impacted by this virus. The latest advice from the Australian Chief Medical Advisor and the Prime Minister, where gatherings of over 100 people have been banned from meeting together, and a requirement of a 4 metre squared kind of like gap between us and another person, the next person. It has put some strong pressure on a lot of different organisations. That as well as the Baptist Association, who have sent out an advice in regards to what their belief is that we should be doing as a church or as an organisation. Let me just read a part of that advice. So currently gatherings of 100 people or more are not permitted, and any venues hosting gatherings under 100 people need to facilitate a distance of 1.52 metres between attendees. Be prepared for that number to be lowered at any time. For those churches that are under 100 people, given the pattern of the COVID-19, the coronavirus, in other countries ahead of us in terms of their infection rates, the more we can do as soon as possible to reduce the occurrence of transfer in the community, the better. Transfer happens most when people are in proximity to one another. Therefore, out of love for our community, there is good reason to suspend gatherings and activities now. So the Parks Baptist Church leadership team, we had an emergency meeting on Wednesday the 18th of March, that evening, and have unanimously voted to follow the guidelines and the recommendations of both the government health expert and the Baptist Association in regards to this evolving issue of the coronavirus. This being the case, it's with a heavy heart that I have had to advise all of our Parks Baptist Church congregation that we will be ceasing all gatherings and ministry activities as of today till further notice. If we were to put a time frame on this situation, according to the Chief Medical Officer and the Prime Minister of Australia, there is the potential for churches to be affected in this way for up to 6 months. Now, obviously, we hope that that is not the case, but we plan for the worst and pray for the best. The Bible in Hebrews 10:24-25 says, "And let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another all the more as you see the day approaching." And isn't it approaching? Wow. And this is why we're recommending that we do church in a different way. So we don't want to just close the doors and just say, well, we'll catch you in 6 months' time. We want to do church in a different way so we can meet together under a different style of setting, and we'll specify that now. So morning and evening service, we will no longer be meeting together physically in the church buildings. We will instead be organising an online presence where we'll record our service and sermon in whatever format that may take, and we will relay it out on a Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and in the evening at 6:30 p.m. We'll start this broadcast from Sunday the 29th of March. Now this will also be available for all people to access during the week. With these services, we will be having available a digital sermon outline as well, similar to the ones that we currently have that we hand out, but this will be a digital version of that for you. Kids Church, obviously will no longer be meeting together as well, in line with the activities of the church. Instead, there will be activities or lessons organised, although what we're looking at is, at the moment, an app where we an app that follows our existing program for our kids' church. So we're going to be sending out a bit more detail in regards to that. It's an inexpensive app that currently is working through the stuff that we've been working through with the kids at church. So we'll come to you with a bit more information on that. Tithing and free will offering. So while we as a church are doing things differently, we're still operating and we still have financial obligations to meet. Now we know that there are people who want to know how it is that they can continue to give to God over the period of time that we're not able to meet together. So we have a couple of options. The first option that a number of our congregation already have in place is for you to direct credit your free will offering to the church bank accounts. So I'll give you some of those details now. So if you have a pen, grab it out and write these down. So the details are the account name, Parks Baptist Church, BSB 082780, the account number 509868304. I'll just do those numbers again. The BSB 082780, account number 509868304. Alternatively, for those who are unable to use the electronic transfer, please feel free to contact our treasurer, Andrew Field, as he's going to be trying to organise something for you guys as well, like a monthly pickup or something like that of your free will offerings. You'll find his phone number in our directory. In regards to small groups and Bible studies, so we're being advised, we were initially advised to consider no longer meeting. As of just recently, we've got advice that all face-to-face style meetings, no matter what they are, should cease during this time. So at this point, while it is painful to say it, we need all small groups to cease meeting. All of our face-to-face ministries are needing to stop meeting in that sense. What we are trying to do, we've got a recommendation, and we've tried to set things up so that people can continue to catch up or to meet as a Bible study, but we want you to do that in a virtual sense, online. We recommend that our Bible studies and small groups continue to meet in a virtual way, and this will be through an online platform known as Zoom. We're going to send out more details about that platform or how to access it over the next few days. If there are any Bible study leaders who would like to learn how to facilitate this, please contact either Nicole Williams or Susie Hill and have a chat to them as to how to set this up. And they're more than happy to walk you through this. Their phone numbers again are in the church directory. Ignite. So Ignite has had its last Friday, and what we're doing is we're moving from physical presence to a virtual presence. So we're going to be continuing to do Ignite, but in a virtual way through the platform Zoom. So we encourage all parents with Ignite-aged kids to consider this alternative avenue in how we do Ignite. As this virus isolates more and more of our community, we can see some great benefit in our Ignite kids having this platform to continue to meet. It's like a bit of an out for them in regards to stuff, especially if the government gets to the point where they cancel all school activity. If that was the case, then this would become even more so important. Regarding Playtime, Ladies' Day Fellowship, SRE, or any other form of ministry that we currently have that is face-to-face, they've all been suspended for an indefinite period of time. Visitations, given the seriousness of this virus and the restrictions that the virus causes, so a 14-day quarantine, pastoral care and visitations will become a little bit more complicated. So we're going to be looking to try and do a more phone-based pastoral care over the next period of time. But if you or a loved one is in need of pastoral care, please don't hesitate to contact myself. Matt on 0417265222 or our elder Dan Fredericks, or one of our wider diaconate. Please reach out and speak to us so that we can help you and love you in this way. In closing, it's vitally important that we as individuals and as a church community as a whole continue to build our relationship with God. Please continue to read your Bible and pray and encourage one another by reaching out and contacting the people in our church, especially those who live alone during this time. It can be a very hard time. As your pastor, I also employ each and every one of us to continue to put Sundays aside for God. Please consider taking up the options that we have been working on to try and set in place for church as we do things differently. Now, this is not only important for you, but if you have a family or kids, then this is extremely important for them as well. Please stay safe. Be wise in what you do and keep trusting in God. Remember, no matter what it may look like, God is in control and He has a plan. Well, that's Pastor Matt signing off. I'm looking forward to catching up and doing this and into the future as we work our way through what's happening. But looking forward to catching up with you again. In His name.